Good day, everyone, and welcome to the next 5 years in wealth tech, what firms must do now. I'm Parul Nagpal, Global Client Partner at Level Shift. We help wealth firms and financial service firms modernize their Salesforce ecosystems, unify data, and harness intelligent automation, all while staying compliant in this highly regulated environment. Today, I'm joined by someone who has lived this transformation firsthand, Seish Iyengar, Chief Information Officer for Global Markets, Institutional Investment Management, and Insurance General Accounting businesses at Manulife. He's also the CTO for the Global Wealth and Asset Management platforms. Across his 30-year career, he has led large-scale cloud and data modernization initiatives, including multi-million-dollar global optimization programs and AI roadmaps. That set the tone for the industry. So we couldn't have a better guest for this conversation.
Thanks, Pearl, for this fantastic intro. Glad to be here and looking forward to this wonderful conversation on this exciting, timely subject, right? So, in this industry. Just so we are clear, the views I'm expressing today here are my personal opinions, and I'm not representing my employer, Manulife or John Hancock. As a wealth and asset management technology leader, I've had the opportunity to see firsthand how firms are reimagining and reshaping the wealth management, aligning with the client experience expectations and as well rapidly changing financial services industry. So we are at an inflection point right now where digital data and AI transformation and the innovation in the wealth management space isn't just optional. It is a strong foundation of future competitiveness. Many firms already are starting to realize how disruptive technology like AI, cloud, and etc. are fueling that revenue growth in the space. There's a lot of buzz around AI, but however, we'll discuss today about some practical and measurable actions the firms need to take and focus on to prepare for that next 5 years. So with that said, let's get started.
Fantastic. And here's the agenda for what we're going to cover today. Together, we will explore how the landscape is shifting, where wealth firms are struggling, what is coming next, and most importantly, what you can start doing now to be ready for that future. Let's begin discussing about the landscape shift. Seish, from this perspective, there are three themes that stand out. Regulation, competition, and expectation. From SEC and FINRA scrutiny to global privacy laws like GDPR and CCPA, I think we're seeing a lot of regulatory tightening. We're seeing firms rethink data residency and auditability. And secondly, I think fintechs, robo-advisors, even big techs, they are just setting the new bar for speed and personalization. So there's just a lot of competition. And then for digital native clients, especially today's high net worth and ultra high net worth segments, I think they expect an immediacy and transparency, and they expect that frictionless engagement, which legacy ops is not able to keep up with. From your CIO vantage point, Seish, are you seeing similar shifts, and what's your take on this?
All right. I think there are a couple of macro forces that we could talk about in the specific topics, right? So let's start off with the big one that I see. So probably the biggest trend reshaping our entire industry right now is that generational wealth transfer. By 2030, about 60 trillion in wealth is expected to shift to millennials and Gen Zs. $60 trillion. That's not just a stat from a consulting firm. That's a seismic shift in who holds financial power in the decades to come. So it's already changing what the clients are expecting from us in a really fundamental way. These next-gen investors, they are digital natives. They have grown up with their lives on their phones in their hand all the time.
Sure.
They expect everything to be seamless, fast, and tailored to them. They don't separate their financial life from the rest of their digital world. They expect similar type of experience all the time. They aren't comparing their experience only to other wealth firms like Schwab, for example. They're comparing it to TikToks, Amazon, Netflix, and those sleek fintech applications like Betterment, or Wealthfront that give them that instant personalized results. So if a client can get an answer in 1 or 2 clicks from their shopping app, they aren't going to tolerate waiting 2 weeks for an investment report to generate or 2 weeks to open an account with us. Right? Being digital first isn't optional anymore. It is the baseline. So next one that I want to highlight is the integration of AI and data-driven personalization into every part of that client journey. And on top of that, as you mentioned, the regulatory pressure, the regulatory environment is tightening too, right? Data privacy, AI transparency, compliance. The bar keeps rising. Manual KYC, outdated systems, disconnected audit trails, those just don't cut it anymore. Firms have to modernize if they want to stay competitive and compliant in this day and age. So we need to bake in compliance by design from the get-go. So here is the bottom line. The firms that recognize these shifts and act now, that stay agile, adopt technology quickly, leveraging AI, automation, data-driven personalization, and bring together the best of that human expertise and digital experience together. Those are the ones that are going to win in the future. They will attract and retain the next generation of the clients and the advisors who know how to serve them very well.
Um, Love that, Sage. I couldn't agree more. What you're really saying is the game is shifting on all three fronts: who the client is, how they expect to be served, how tightly we have to run from a risk and regulatory standpoint, and which means treating digital first is the absolute baseline. It's not a differentiator. You have to use data to personalize every touch, not just the homepage. And you have to make compliance invisible, but it has to be present in the evidence, in the disclosures, in the audit trails. They all have to be built into the flow. And it's not AI instead of advisors, it is AI amplifying the advisors so that it frees them to do the human work that actually helps build that loyalty, right? And so for a firm that aligns to this playbook, unifies the data, personalizes by default, and automates the busy work, keeps humans in the moments that matter, I think it not just helps with the next generation expectations, it helps them become the firm that others compare them to. I think the next topic I want to touch is where are firms really struggling today? I think there are three key friction points, and those have come up in the conversation so far. Data silos, where data is disconnected, the drag on the advisors, where there's a lot of manual activity, and security. So on the data front, the custodians, the portfolio systems, the CRM, the compliance app, often they don't talk to each other. And the result is analytics and AI, they cannot deliver value because the foundation isn't solid. On the advisor front, advisors still spend about 70% of their time on an average on admin tasks, note taking, chasing paperwork, manual onboarding. And then on the security front, firms are being expected to experiment with AI. Data privacy and cyber risk have become bigger concerns. Sage, how are you seeing these pain points play out inside the business?
Yeah, those three pain points that you just mentioned really capture what we are seeing across the industry right now, where firms are really struggling, right? So let's start with data first. So every firm talks about, artificial intelligence, analytics, personalization. But the truth is, none of that works if the data isn't connected. Most organizations still have their client information scattered across multiple systems, and that just don't talk to each other, right? You can't build predictive models of the future or deliver real-time insights on a fragmented data foundation. And then you have got the everyday friction that people go through, like multiple logins, disconnected applications, different passwords to remember for every platform with the same company that they are, leveraging multiple products and services with. Advisors and clients alike are living in this patchwork experience. So what they really need is a unified ecosystem. So one that's digital workspace where everything connects seamlessly for them. So now coming to the advisor side, this is where the frustration really shows up. Advisors want to spend time with their clients, listening, building that important trust element there, guiding them through that complex life decisions. But too often they are stuck in that administrative quicksand. Like you said, like typing up notes and chasing signatures, manually onboarding new accounts, right? So some spend even significant amount of time on these kind of manual tasks, anywhere from like 40 to 70% of the time based on what we are hearing in the industry. That time should be like going towards that client relationships and strategy. Imagine a world with an integrated advisor platform that gives a true 360-degree view of that client, the data-driven insights, enhance client experience, and automate those routine workflows like onboarding, EKYC, compliance checks, risk management, and all the administrative tasks that they have to do. That's a game changer. It's not just about efficiency. It's about freeing the time for the advisor to actually be an advisor again. Then the other point is about compliance and security, right? Regulations keep evolving faster than most systems that we have today can even adapt to. So manual audits and outdated tools that we have just can't keep up with real-time oversight demands that's required. Firms need like smarter automated audit trails and embedded compliance that work quietly in the background and make things work seamlessly. And as AI becomes part of our operating model, data privacy and cyber risk are front and center of it. Responsible AI framework and guardrails are very important as well. You can't innovate without that trust element with your investors, your clients. And the clients will embrace digital only if they know their data is totally safe. So yes, these pain points that we are talking about, very real, but they are also like very fixable too. The firms that are getting it right are investing in a solid digital foundation, the digital and data foundation as well, automating the workflows end to end, reducing noise for advisors, and baking compliance directly into every process. So now the real challenge is, and I hear this from all my CIO peers and CTO peers all the time, is how do you modernize without blowing up our IT budgets or disrupting operations? How do you enable transformation without spending millions on a complete replatforming? That's where innovation and intelligent automation come in. It's about choosing those structural gaps and closing them efficiently, layering that modern AI-enabled capabilities on top of our existing systems in a smooth way so you can move fast at the same time, like stay cost effective. So when firms do that very well, the ROI will really show up in advisor productivity, client satisfaction, and long-term competitiveness.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sesh. I'll just summarize. What I'm hearing is a pragmatic path forward. Connect the data, lift that admin burden, and embed compliance without ripping out what already exists today. And the playbook that you're advising is layer modern AI-enabled workflow on top of existing systems. So advisors, they get a single workspace. Clients, they get that seamless experience, and compliance runs in the background, right? As a firm, you start small, 2 or 3 high impact use cases like a digital onboarding or a eKYC, meeting prep, auto summary, automated audit trails, so that you can prove that ROI in weeks and then scale. And we have to do it with responsible AI guardrails. So trust never becomes a trade-off. In short, unify, automate, govern, not re-platform, but smarter platform. With that, I think I would like to show in practice with a quick demo of an advisor productivity agent. We've built this in our agent library on Agentforce. LevelShift is a Salesforce Summit partner, and we're a team of dedicated AI transformation experts combining sector expertise and cutting edge innovation. With that, I'll take over the screen for a second. Here is our agent library at LevelShift, and I want to showcase this advisor productivity agent that we created on Agentforce. So for this demo, I'm going to play Priya Sharma, and I'm a senior wealth advisor with Northbridge Wealth Partners. I have an upcoming meeting with the Patel family, and I want to prep for that meeting. So I'm going to say, brief me for the Patel family 2 p.m. review. So Agentforce has a lot of context up within Agentforce. This one is a headless agent, but this would be somewhere in your Salesforce screen where it knows that I have a 2 p.m. review, who the Patel family is. I'm the advisor on the Patel family household account, and there's an upcoming meeting at 2 p.m. So it's going to help me prepare for that meeting. So as the goals for the Patel family, one is college fund and retirement, and the allocation is 60-40. Year to date, there's a 4.2% increase. RSUs vested in 3 weeks. There was a new baby that came in March, and their last service ticket related to billing was resolved on Friday. There are 3 talking points, the main ones being 529 kickoff, RSUs set aside an emergency fund top up. It's asking me, do I want a one-pager? I'm going to say yes. Create the one-pager. All right. One-pager includes goals, holdings, 30-day performance, open items, and live event queues. Let's see what this is. Okay. Quick one-pager for advisor brief from the Patel family, holding snapshot, live events, recent open items, recommended actions. Let's hit back. All right. Now, let's assume I took this brief. I have had a conversation with the Patel family. I want to say, here are the talking points that we talked about. I want this agent to summarize the call that I've had with them. So they say we discussed opening a 529 with a over 10K, setting aside 25% of upcoming RSUs for taxes. There's a very brief conversation that I'm asking it to type up as my notes. Revisiting insurance coverage next month. All right, let's see. There we go. Okay, so it's in my summary. It says, hey, here are some additional next steps you could be doing. So one, opening a 529 with the 10K initial funding. That's because part of the summary that I just typed up, right? Create a tax set aside task for RSUs vesting on the 28th, and then schedule an insurance review in 30 days. Do I want to create a follow-up email? It says, okay, I'm going to say drop the email. Yeah. Although it was a typo, it took my response. It says, okay, here's a email that I've drafted. Next steps from today's review for the Patel family. Rajesh, my main point of contact at the Patel family. Thank you for taking the time today. Here's a recap. Summary of today's discussion, recommended to next action, next steps, and we're going to track this within Salesforce. Link to the documents, 529 plan options, secure document upload option, and then the meeting summary and disclosures PDF. Best regards, Priya Sharma from me, the compliant note. I'm going to say, can you add the next steps? Let's say I sent this email to the client, and then I'm going to say, can you add the next steps as tests? Okay, so it said on the account, which is my Patel household account, as an advisor. These are my next steps for me. So I'm gonna have a task which is due on the November 12th. It's a high priority task. Open the box 29 and fund $10,000 there. Another task for me that was due, let's say next week, is set aside 25% of the RSU vest for taxes, which actually vests on November 28th. And then it's going to create another task for my client ops queue. It says scheduled insurance or beneficiary review for a 30-day check-in. All right. I'm not going to draft the email. I've already drafted one. I'm just going to ask it, show me today's productivity impact. That's it. Okay. I saved 18 minutes. I got an auto brief where I would have spent maybe 6 minutes doing it myself. I got a summary created. I drafted an email. And so overall, I saved about 18 minutes. And we did a follow-up SLA. And then additional items like this is the end of my demo, but and as an advisor, I could continue this conversation. Would like me to send the email now, I'll queue it for your review, etc. With that, I will stop sharing. And then, Seish, from your CIO chair, watching this and how this is evolving, do you think this will translate to value to the business?
Yeah, that's a fantastic demo, Parul. First of all, like really great to see those themes coming to life in such a tangible way. So from a CIO perspective, the key is always translating innovation into business value. So it's not just about what that tech does, it's about the so what. I think that's very important. That means showing both the quantitative and qualitative outcomes, showcasing that ROI. When it comes to quantitatively demonstrating that, it's things like measurable productivity gains, faster onboarding times, reduced service costs. Qualitatively speaking, it's how that experience feels, right? For both the advisor and the investor, the end investors that are in it. When you can show that AI isn't just making processes faster, but actually improving that human experience, that's when the value becomes real. For example, tools like agent augmented advisors or digital twins, they don't replace people, they amplify them, as you mentioned at the beginning of the call. They free up that time for the advisors and the client teams to focus on the empathy, relationship, and deeper insights, the things that really drive loyalty. And that's where the ROI starts to show up. We can track the metrics like NPS, client retention and attrition rates, even advisor satisfaction scores, and connect them directly to the business outcomes. On the productivity front, we are often seeing 20 to 40% efficiency gains, which is very huge in the industry. This is just, we're touching the surface and we're seeing this potential, but there's even significantly higher potential as well. But at the end of the day, the firms that are going to lead aren't necessarily the ones with the most AI in place. They're the ones that embed it more meaningfully into their client and advisor journey, every step in the process. So that's when it stops being AI being a buzzword and starts becoming a true differentiator for the business.
So it's value over novelty, right? And they have to tie every capability to hard ROI. What's the time, cost, risk, and to actual human outcomes. NPS, retention, advisor satisfaction. And when AI amplifies advisors and elevates that client experience, it stops becoming a hype. And like you said, it becomes a real differentiator. So that's the question I think that we're trying to answer as part of this conversation. Seish, where do firms start? What should their roadmap look like?
Well, that's a fantastic question, and it's probably the one every leadership team is wrestling with right now. So I always tell firms, start with a very clear multi-year roadmap that is strategic, but at the same time actionable. That's the key, right? You can't transform everything all at once, but you can build momentum through focus and sequencing. Step one is always getting the foundation right, your data, cloud, and digital infrastructure. If you don't have a unified data lake or a scalable cloud environment, AI will just sit on top of silos. The foundation has to come first. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos. Once that is in place, we can shift the focus on to low lift, high impact AI use cases, the quick wins that create that measurable ROI. Things like automating onboarding workflows, digitizing compliance, integrating data to build that 360 client view. You can deploy AI powered agents inside dashboards, next best action tools, all of which deliver immediate efficiency and time savings. I think of that as 0 to 2 year quick wins phase where you can show that momentum, demonstrate value, and move on. I think proving that value, building that trust, and use that momentum to then scale, I think is kind of the first step, I would say. Then we move into that 2 to 3 year horizon where we are looking to how can we scale this even beyond what we have demonstrated. So that's when you move from efficiency to scaled intelligence. Hyper personalization, predictive compliance, and proactive recommendations are all part of that. How do we scale? That's when firms start saying, we're not just reacting anymore, we are anticipating. And by year 3 to 5, that's our long term roadmap, you begin to see the real AI transformation in works. Agentic, self learning systems that automate the complex workflows, operate with guardrails in place, and continually improve themselves. The future would evolve to autonomous agents, agentic teams, and hybrid advice model with a seamless blend of both the robo and human in the loop, right? So digital first, but at the same time, human backed advice. So let's say agent augmented advisor is something that would become real in 3 to 5 years time frame. Already, like some companies are doing in pockets that, but this would become a mega trend that will be in place in most companies by that time, right? So of course, regulation will shape up how far and how fast that can happen, that goes. So firms need to evolve hand in hand with that, regulatory policy and everything, right? The big idea here is don't boil the ocean. I think that's where people make mistake, like boiling the ocean. Try to start small, scale smart, and tie every step to a business outcome, whether that's advisor productivity, client retention, or operational resilience. If you have that roadmap, foundation first, then quick wins, then scale that, and then get to that full transform, the next 5 years can be not just about modernization, but about real competitive advantage.
Couldn't agree more, Sesh. If I had to boil that down for a move now plan for our audience, we're saying lay the foundation, prove the value fast, and then scale what works. In practice, what that means is stand up that governed data layer, right, and modernize the core plumbing, right, so that AI isn't sitting on silos, like you said. And then pick 2 or 3 quick wins, digital onboarding or eKYC or advisor copilot that can help to prep the follow-up, like I was just showcasing, automate those audit trails, and then show your measurable ROI in weeks, and then use those wins to fund your next scale. Next phase to scale further, right? Client 360 driven personalization, predictive compliance, proactive next best actions, and then your position for the next 3 to 5 years, right? Your agent augmented advisors, autonomous workflows, like you said, with clear guardrails and the policy alignment. So don't just re-platform or sequence. Start small, show the value, lock in that trust, and expand deliberately. And I think that's what the trend is that we're seeing with our clients here at Level Shift as well. And I want to go to the next session to say, hey, what are our key takeaways? I think one, tech is an enabler and an accelerator. Second, elevate the client experience, empower your advisors. And then number 3, momentum matters. Firms that are acting now will frame the market, so don't get left behind.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I would add picking the right transformation partner is key. Partner with someone like Level Shift with the AI expertise in this vast ecosystem of possibilities we're talking about in your agentic journey to achieve that AI transformation faster. Wealth management tech is evolving, but the opportunity has never been greater. If we choose to move decisively, intelligently, and together, I think we can make that happen. That landscape shift that we talked about at the beginning is clear, right? Firms that act now to modernize their infrastructure, design compliance into their workflows, and deliver user experience that feel as seamless as the big techs and the fintechs alike, those will be the firms that don't just survive the shift, but lead the transformation and the shift that we're talking about.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Saish. Level Shift runs focus workshops with wealth management firms to help create your AI roadmaps and, most importantly, build your agents. Learn more by visiting our website or connecting with us on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for joining us today, Saish, and thank you to the audience. Goodbye.
And thank you for having me here.